Hey, it's Andrew again. Great, I'm glad you clicked on this because this is super important. I wanted to do this. I want to share with you. It's a really important little training module here to help you out. Normally, I share this kind of stuff with only my clients, but I really wanted to help you out here. And this video is not meant to scare you or create some sort of weird fear or something stupid like that. It's meant to inform you of what is happening behind the scenes in the marketplace right now. And if your marketing is getting crappy results, or there's just isn't any marketing happening of any real substance at all, there are a lot of problems with marketing businesses in general right now. It's all moving at an incredible rate. And I want to help you. I just want you to understand why these things are happening, and then it's going to really help us to make some more progress on the call because I won't really have to want to really like explain all this stuff. So you'll understand it. We can focus on you and we can get you to that next level that you're going to achieve. Now, what I want to do is help you understand that there's a lot of gurus and stuff out there. There's a lot of gurus teaching a lot of things that isn't, well, it's not that it's not true. It's just that it just doesn't really work. It's like cold calling. What I mean, technically, cold calling works, but you don't want to do it. I don't think so. And same here, I've done it. I've done it a lot in my life. It's terrible. And so, what I want to do is I want to help you understand the massive shift in the professional services industry. And there's three phases, and we're in phase three right now. And if I can just help you understand what's going on, it's going to enlighten you a lot into why you always feel like everything you're doing is failing or it doesn't work as well as you want, or why you're working so hard to not to get the results that you should have, so you can take your family or get your finances in the way you want them in your life, and why you always feel like you're just kind of chasing the next thing, and it's like a treadmill that the incline keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So, all right, so let's go back a bit. I originally started poking around online in 94, 95. I was working for America Online, and I was with the company. They had about 1 million subscribers. We hit 1 million subscribers, and then something happened. They were crushing it, and they weren't inventing the market completely. There had been other services that were similar, like CompuServe or Prodigy, but you have to be my age or older to even remember those, because AOL, which is what that America Online was shorted to, AOL, they crushed those completely. So America Online is literally forging the new market, and at this time, we're dealing with HTML 1.0. I don't know if you even know what that is, but it's the code that's used to make web pages. It's hyperlink markup language and 1.0. I don't even know what number they're up to now. And web pages were really in their infancy, excuse me. They looked terrible, and you basically couldn't really do much with them. And plus, internet speeds were so low. We're talking about like 300, 2400 baud modems. If you might not even know what that means, but they could send data in like very tiny amounts of data. We're talking kilobytes here, we're now in gigabytes, and you can look all that up if it's interesting to you. I won't bother to explain it, but basically, we're talking about the infancy of the consumer market on the internet, and AOL was cruising along, and they were succeeding. They hit 1 million members, and I remember everyone was so excited, and there was this huge party, and we all had stock, so we were all deciding what island we were going to live on. And then something happened. Microsoft announced they were going to build a competitor to America Online, and everybody lost their minds. This is during the time that Microsoft was famous for stealing everything, including Windows, which they stole from the Mac. But they stole everything, and they just took it over, and they just crushed the competition. And they had done it over and over again. And so everyone lost their minds for like a year, and we went into crazy overdrive, and we were crazy hours, and just did everything we could to make AOL the best. And then like D-Day came, or M-Day, I guess, from Microsoft, and they rolled out their big giant marketing machine, and they launched the Microsoft Network. And by this time at AOL, they were working so hard that we had rocketed to like, I don't remember, 6, 7, 8 million members, like lightning. And anyway, Microsoft Network launches, and everyone waits for this giant bomb to drop on us. And a bomb definitely dropped, but it wasn't on us. Microsoft bombed. It was like the first time that they had ever kind of failed at something. And here was AOL, who was just on top of the world and just beating the big bad wolf and was unstoppable. And then fast forward 7 years and the stock's worthless. The internet caught up, and for reasons too long to explain, AOL tried to fight the internet, and the internet won, big time. And what happened was HTML and like the functionality of the internet was exploding, and so you could do more and more on the internet, and you didn't need to be on AOL, which by the way they charge you by the minute to be on. You could be on the internet sort of for free. You paid a monthly service, but it's basically unlimited. And everything was really slow, and on AOL, everything was really slow in general. But AOL was king, or during this time when AOL was king, in like 2003 to really 2008, search engine optimization (SEO), it was really right for people to get clients online. You could basically create pages and you'd submit things to the search engines using these software tools, and you'd submit them to like the top 10 search engine services. Like there's probably more, but there's 10. And you would get traffic and you would get clients. It was super easy. And then Google AdWords was really easy and it was cheap. It was like 5 cents to get a click, 15 cents to get a subscriber to a newsletter, email subscriber every 3 clicks. It was insane. And then getting clients was easy. It was basically, if you showed up, you're making money because you're like the one person there. And it was like, have you ever seen that movie Ray Kroc, the Ray Kroc movie, The Founder? It's a good movie. It's like when they first started McDonald's, and it was just like, if you were there, you were making money. And really, the theme of this phase was, if you show up, you just get clients. It was just kind of like the start of the housing boom, for example, when everything was just easy. People were printing money, and life is good. And then what happened in about 2009? What happened in about 2009 is phase 2 of all this kind of started right around that time, and it lasted about 2015. And here's what happened: SEO got completely oversaturated. Everybody started getting search engine rankings, and this is also the season which blogging really started to come online in a big way. A lot of the black hat, bad SEO stuff, and it got really oversaturated. You can look up that also. I'm not going to go into that, but it just got really oversaturated and got really hard. And then what happened at the same time is Google AdWords started to get really expensive. Those clicks that were 5 cents are now $1 or $2. And so a lot of the people running business models that didn't have a high enough profit margin or a high enough conversion rate, they were gone. Back to day jobs, literally gone in a matter of, some cases it didn't take long at all, because right around that time, Google also started this thing called the Google Slap, in which Google would just wipe out people's accounts if they didn't like you for something you did, because they just didn't need you anymore. They were huge, they were making tons of money, and there was a line out the door of people who wanted to use AdWords, and so they didn't care about you. Same with SEO. SEO started doing all these algorithm changes, and it got really bad and really hard and really scary. And right about that time, though, something happened. Facebook ads started right about that time. It started a little bit before that, but the technology got much better, and you could run ads, and ads were cheap. And like 2009, you could run Facebook ads, and they were cheap. They were like the original days of AdWords, and people were converting. The conversion rate was really high, and it was like, okay, SEO is bombing, it's oversaturated, AdWords is expensive, but Facebook ads are here. It's okay, everything's going to be fine. And then there was this new tool boom, and it made client getting much easier. And so what happens is, Infusionsoft, you can look up Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft, this company came out, and they started, and they literally created this industry of tools, and you could start getting these things called lead pages, and ClickFunnels started coming out, and it's okay if you don't know what these things are, but basically the way in which people could get clients got much easier because these tools made it much less technical, lower the barrier to entry also, but it got much less technical and much easier. And there were various other really simple WordPress plugins and all these types of things. And I was like, wow, this is so much easier. It's like the go-go days. It's starting to get good again. Everything's starting to get good again. And then the theme of this season was, if you could get on Facebook, you could get your ads up, you could just get clients. People were incredibly successful just running ads straight to a Facebook fan page and just getting people to like a page, and then they would sort of find their way into everything else and become a client. it was easy. It was super easy at this time, and it was like the middle of the housing bubble. I remember I got my first house. I bought my first house, and it was like they had 5 models, and I was like, heck with it. I'll get the nicest one. Yes, I need that man door in the garage, and yes, I need the speakers throughout, and yes, I need custom paint and a bigger pool, and yes, I bought everything. And I still managed to sell it a year later and make great money. And I got a different house and I made solid money on that first house. I was like, I guess I'm pretty good at this housing thing. I'm pretty smart about this. And this is the season of when a lot of these like one trick housing gurus started to come on the scene and say, "Hey, I'm an expert at this. Look at me. I can show you how to flip houses and do all these amazing things." But these guys had really just ridden the bubble and really just built their house flipping business on cheap clicks, on just tons of people, and there was no substance to it. And it's like that Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, he says, you can always tell who's wearing. You can always tell who's wearing swim trunks when the tide goes out. And this was kind of the same thing. And something happened. Things started to change, and in about 2015, things started to really change, and the steam started to pick up, and snowball started to roll, and it moved into it changed to what you would call what's called phase three, or I call phase three, which started in about 2015. It's probably going to go well into, I don't know, 6 7 years at least, longer. And what's happened? AdWords is not a secret anymore, and it's expensive. And at the end of the day, there's clients who they get great cost per clicks, cheap clicks, and so forth. But it's all relative because there's no undiscovered markets left on Facebook. Your market and everyone else's, it's discovered. There's no secret. People know they can find their clients there. And the bidding war is like locked in this decisive battle. And so it's this model of getting clients and stuff like it's this model of getting clients from Facebook. It's not a secret anymore. And so a lot of people are piling on Facebook trying to get clients, and it's scary because the tools have gotten easier. So the barriers to entry to run these campaigns, they're lowering and lowering. It's simpler, and the simpler that Facebook makes it, the more money they make. So it's in their best interest to make it as simple as possible. And so everybody's got some version of ClickFunnels or lead pages or this and that, and they all, all the pages start to look the same, and it's getting really hard to differentiate yourself. And I ask people all the time, I'm like, why would somebody work with you over all the other options out there in your market, either directly or indirectly. And a lot of them, you know, a lot of these, your competition, they're way more established, and they can offer like 100 testimonials, and they can, represent themselves as having accomplished X or Y or Z, or we worked with so and so. And so why would somebody work with you? And I'm not saying this to you. I'm just saying it's something I ask a lot of people, and very few people have the answer. And so that's what we're going to have to fix on your call, and make sure that you are in a good place and that we have you in a great place so that you can deal with this and not have to get wiped out or not get going at all. And the free information model, it's virtually dead. I mean, I think about like, back in, '05, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, everyone was subscribing to these big blog writers, and there were some blogs that if people, if they posted a new blog post, it was like people would go bananas. Like, they post a new blog post, and they read every word, and people would print it off and or read the whole thing or download the PDF, or the ebook. And people were just consuming this client in amazing numbers. It was like they were posting a gold leaf on the internet, and you could just download it. You know, Now, if you send people this stuff, they're going to be like, what are you sending me all this stuff for? I don't have time to read your blog post or your free videos or all this or that. The whole model is shifting. It's gotten scary again. And the buyer sophistication cycle is at warp speed. The client sophistication cycle is at warp speed. And what's happening is people are seeing ads, and they're getting worse click rates on Facebook. No matter what images they're using or tricks, they're seeing bigger issues happen with, their landing pages aren't converting as well, and their response rates are getting worse, and less show ups to their webinars, and less people are opening their emails, less people are moving forward with them. More people are like, they get on the call, and they're like, oh, this is great. I gotta think about it. I gotta talk to my wife or my husband. I really like your stuff, but I'm gonna get back to you on this one. They get off the phone, and they're hopping on the phone call with every one of your competitors under the sun, and this is just continuing at a warp speed. And so, not only that, the the big thing is that there's no cheap lead source right now out on the horizon. And this is very scary. So remember when I said how once kind of SEO started getting beat up a bit by the algorithm, and then you had AdWords got expensive, and then Facebook showed up and kind of, saved the day. But it's different now. There's no cheap alternative on the horizon right now to Facebook. So for example, there's nothing out in the industry where on the internet there's a rival to Facebook that is cheap clicks. Not like you can't, there's some small sites, but they don't have targeting, they don't have the capacity power. And so all this put together has really created a sad and like scary theme, which is you're in big trouble unless you can be really effective at attracting your clients. And so what's happened here is just kind of like the housing crash did. People, you know, there's people make money, but there's millions that are made in every downturn. And I'm not saying this is a downturn, but what I'm saying is it's starting to implode, and we're kind of like right here. And some people are going to succeed and really grow their businesses to the next level, and others are just going to be out of business or have to abandon their firms and put a suit on and go but work at one of these big behemoth client factories that already have the traction and the referral networks and can bring in new lawyers, and they can pay them nothing and keep all the money at the top. A dollar comes in, you get a dime. And this is going for a lot of small firms, this is going to destroy everything, and it'll cost them everything. It'll cost them their family's financial future, their financial future. It's not like they're going to be on the street. I mean, they're still going to be out making a living, but we're talking about a completely different life and a completely different picture, a completely different result. And that's not why you went out and did what you did in the first place, which was to avoid all of that and take control and create success as an entrepreneur, which is amazing. It takes a certain person to do it. So kudos that you're not just satisfied with a paycheck. I mean, I talked to lots of people in my life, and sometimes I get a look from people when they find out that I'm out on my own doing my own, and they just think you're crazy. They need to know that in 2 weeks they're going to get that paycheck, and they need that, and you don't. And I mean, you need to know you're going to get a paycheck, but these people, they need security much more than they're willing to risk it for the big prize. And so you're different, and that's great. But back to what I was saying, it's scary, and I want to make sure that you understand what is going on out there, so we can talk about it on the call and find out how to prevent that from happening to you. So you don't have to stick, like a lot of people stick their head in the sand and think that like somehow if they just get some client or some point or just get to some point, it'll just fix everything. And look, it's like I live here in San Diego, and my daughter and I, and we scuba and we get in the water and we love it. I absolutely love being in, on, over, under the ocean. But the ocean doesn't mess around. You can't make mistakes because the ocean will make you pay if you're careless. And a lot of times on the coast, we have this really big undertow. And what an undertow is, basically the water underneath draws you back out, and I mean, you can look that up if you don't know what an undertow is. It is what it sounds like. So once my daughter, she got caught in the undertow, and she was on a board, and I had just ridden in, and I looked out and I saw her trying to kind of paddle and catch a wave, and the wave just kind of went over her, and then it just drew her back. Like she went 5 feet forward, and then 15 feet back, and so she waited a couple seconds for another wave, and then she started paddling like crazy, and same thing happened, 5 foot forward, 15 feet, and I realized that she was in an undertow, so I swam like absolute Superman. I mean, she's 8. She's this tiny little thing on this board, and she's panicking, and she's trying to paddle straight in, and the waves will come in, and they're just drawing her right back, and she's getting tired, and she's panicking, and I'm I jump in the water. I was already in the water. I was in the water up to about my thighs, and I dove down in the water, and I think it took me about 3 strokes to get 50 yards. I was like the fastest swimmer in the world at that exact moment, and I swam to the back of her board, and I yelled paddle, and I pushed the board as hard as I could, and I swam up to her again because it barely went forward, and I pushed her again, and I kept repeating it, and finally I pushed her, and she just caught a wave, and she rode it all the way in, and then I'm exhausted from getting her forward enough so she could get in, and I still have to swim sideways because you're in an undertow. You swim sideways to get out of it, and she's 8. I wouldn't have expected her to remember that, especially when she's starting to panic. And so I have to swim sideways and then swim all the way in, and I literally like pull myself like in a castaway, like up onto the beach. You can picture me, I pull myself up on my fingers. I flip over my back, and I can't breathe. My lungs are burning, and this lifeguard truck pulls up, and the guy leans out the window, the lifeguard, and he's like, "Hey, there's an undertow." I was like, "Yeah, thanks a lot. That's really great. I really appreciate it." But I mean, people drown that way. It really happens. People, they panic and they don't know to swim sideways, and if you don't, if you don't swim sideways, if you don't do it right, you can drown, and you have to outsmart it. You can't outstrength it, because you can't be stronger than the ocean. You can't be stronger than a riptide. You're gonna lose every time. So what we've got to do is we've got to get your business with some traction in it and get your lead system set up right, so there's no waste, so that every dollar gets you the maximum return. So every stroke gives you the most result, so that you're not taken out by the reality that is this third phase of the market that we're in, and that you actually thrive and you build your firm to the next level, add a ton of clients so you can leverage them into even more and more and more and so on. And we need to do it without adding to your already huge list of responsibilities. In fact, we need you working less, making more money, and being a lot more profitable, because you're not running around like chicken with your head cut off trying to market your firm. And so this phase 3 that I've told you about, say from like 2015 forward, the processes that you're going to put into place, that you're going to have working for you, have made the people that are using them more money since 2015 than from before then. So we're basically going to figure it out for you and figure it out, map the plan. But I just wanted to make sure that you got this, so you realize that there's hope. You're not going to need to shut your business down. You're not going to need to start like spamming people on LinkedIn and blogging all day long, or going to all these networking events that you hate, or like private messaging tons of people on Facebook begging for referrals, or whatever it is that you're doing that you hate, or that people are doing, and that's not working. And I want to encourage you to realize that there is hope. We can fix this. I get a lot of clients, a ton of leads, all that kind of stuff from Facebook. So you have no excuse, because my life, from my previous video, I was headed nowhere, and I was about to lose a business that I didn't even deserve, because I was just green and young, and we were so underfunded, and we should have lost it 1,000 times. But we got saved by scale. We got saved by the principles and systems that are going to pave the way to your success amazingly. I've never taken a single marketing class. I've never taken a test or gotten a grade or anything, had any academic instruction. What I did was I buried myself into these processes, and I trusted the people that were using them and their success, and I've taken their systems and they've made me successful. And I took that system. I made me successful before I even deserved it in that original business. And I've refined those systems and taken the best advice from people who are just crushing it and have results that are incredible and repeatable. And I've made myself successful by employing these systems and letting them do all of the heavy lifting. I had everything going against me originally. You can do this. And like I said before in my webinar, and the number one skill I'm going to leave you with, the number one skill is this: that you can have to take your family to you can pay off your debt, and fill up your retirement savings so you don't retire broke, and you can stop attracting garbage, and you can attract quality leads, and you convert them like crazy to add like 6, 10, 20, 50 grand a month that should have been in your bank account every month by now anyway. The number one skill to get there is turning paid traffic into profitable clients. Because if you can't do that, and you can't do it again and again and again, then you're not. All you have to do is be able to do that one thing: turn paid traffic into profitable clients, and do it over and over and over again. If you can do it, you're going to take care of everything else in your life that you're trying to accomplish. You're going to fix every problem. I mean, pretty much, unless it's a health problem. Actually, I would even say that you're going to be much healthier if you do that, because I have been. But you're going to fix every problem that you don't want. You're going to create the life that you deserve. And if you have a family, that your family's deserving of, and help get the right clients and only work with the people who will pay you for what you're worth and make a ton of money doing it. So I'm really excited to talk to you on our scheduled call. I hope this has been helpful. I just wanted to kind of give you some backstory on what's going on so that we can really dig into how to fix that in the personal context of your life. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon.